Think of my formidable beard.
It is sexy.
You know, my beard and the beard that Bradley Cooper had,
Basically rip off.
they're kind of like the same.
Yeah,
It's pretty impressive.
absolutely.
So what does Christian Bale, Leonardo, did I say that right? DiCaprio, Jennifer Lopez, Will Smith, Tom Cruise, and Bradley Cooper and myself all have in common?
A beard?
Yeah, they would have had to have a formidable beard for this actual role.
That's true.
Because Christian Bale, Leonardo, and Jennifer Lopez, and Will
Jennifer
Smith.
Lopez.
I
forgot.
I
was trying to think, did you mention any females in here where I wouldn't get her?
That's what I was waiting for. They may have been in this film instead of some of the other actors.
Movies. The average person can be inspired by them. They can make us laugh. Movies can keep us on the edge of our seat and so much more. Maddie's Movie Mix is a podcast for movie enthusiasts of all kinds. We hope you enjoy the show.
Wait. Matt Logan!
Yes, we both had the same problem. You.
Listen. You smell something?
Yippee-ki-yay. This is Tyler Peterson. Could you imagine Christian Bale singing?
That would be a hard no. I don't want to.
I don't want to see it either.
Of course, we are talking about
A Star is Born.
Star is Born. Yes, sir.
Sounds like a Disney film.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that there's actually other older films
That's a
with the
fourth.
same name. Yeah,
It's the fourth version.
Yeah.
An adaptation.
right. Oh,
It's an emotional one too.
this is gonna. Okay, I hadn't seen this.
Which is
it
a
came out in
huge surprise.
2018. I mean, it was good. I heard it was good. Shouldn't say I know it was good. This was a good film. I'm just gonna get that right out of the gate.
We should talk about your budget and
Should we do that?
yeah, because it did exceptionally well.
Go ahead, talk about it. Yeah, I
Budget
don't have to
was-
talk about the budget.
Well, because you've been talking about, I should research because it is interesting to look at to see how much money they had and how much money they made.
Because that's a tell of how the film's going to be.
Exactly. So what I had at least was $36 million budget.
Yep.
They made $434 million.
Yep, I am close. I'm a little different, but yeah, close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all a little bit different.
Well, that's true.
But that's insane. That's an incredibly sign of a great movie.
So if you remember, Ghostbusters back in 1984 had a budget of very similar,
Yeah.
right? And didn't do nearly these kind of dollars.
They did.
Do you have that right on your?
Yeah, because actually. Oh wait, no, because you keep track of the budget typically.
Yeah.
I lied.
Okay.
I've been trying to.
I don't have it readily available. I don't have it readily available. But yeah, pretty incredible when you talk about a similar budget from 37 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
To today, 4 years ago, I guess technically.
Right.
But and you have it just knock it out of the park like this.
Yeah.
That's why they can make crappy movies.
That's right. Yeah.
But wow.
Spectacular.
What are some of your cool facts?
Well, it was funny. Fact I found was that Bradley Cooper worked with the dialect coach before Sam Elliott was signed on to sound like Sam Elliott.
No kidding.
Yeah. And then this is when I looked up before watching again. I think I figured out how I'm going to do my research. Older films that I've seen before, I'll do research beforehand so I
Sure.
can pick it up while I'm watching it. And new films, I'll research later.
Yeah.
That's a side note if you care about my process at all. But so then that one was cool because I looked that one up and then they sound like brothers. They have very similar voices where I thought was really cool.
I'm gonna add to that. Maybe you know this already, but I had heard from a reliable source that he, in order to get that depth of his voice, because his voice isn't that deep.
No.
he had to hunch over all the time.
Oh, really?
Like he had to I don't know if that opens up his airways or however it worked.
I wonder if
for
it's
him.
Constricting where it comes out.
Yeah, or right where I should say when he stands up, his airways are more. But that's what he had to do to really
crazy.
get that. Yeah, and that's what his acting in the film was very much that way. He was always like almost embarrassed. He didn't didn't want to look people in the eye type thing, and it was like that made a lot of sense. So I thought that was an interesting fact too.
Yeah, I agree. The concert scenes were all shot live by the direction of Lady Gaga, which I thought was a great choice. Derek Jones, who plays Jack's ear doctor, is actually Bradley Cooper's real doctor.
What?
Yeah. Which is crazy. I don't know why. It was like, oh, do you want to play a doctor in a film?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Bradley Cooper, of course, directed it.
Yes.
His
he had a lot of direction.
Debut. So I guess that would make sense. He would bring somebody in that would,
The other two I have is Bradley Cooper learned how to play multiple instruments for this film, being the guitar and piano. And then the spoiler, they get a, I guess it's not spoiler. There's a dog at the end of the film when Jack and Allie get together. That's Bradley Cooper's real dog.
Really?
Which I thought was incredible because that dog seemed pretty well trained.
Very well trained.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would know.
My wife would know.
Well, you see.
That's right.
You observe, I'm saying. Like, you can see what a well-trained dog is.
You're right. Mentally, I was thinking of, like, how would Megan get dogs to do this? I was like, that's pretty exceptional.
Yeah. Some of the things, obviously Lady Gaga, we expected to perform phenomenally as usual. She's very talented.
Well, I didn't know for sure. Because she wasn't in a bunch of films before this.
I mean, perform in the singing part of
yes.
it. Like, that's her thing, right?
Sounds
obviously.
Good.
Yeah, so we knew that. I heard, of course, that Bradley Cooper did his own singing, and I'm thinking,
this man can do everything.
I'm thinking this is going to suck.
Oh.
But then I was like, yeah, this dude can do it.
It's like Hugh Jackman. Like,
yes.
What can't that man do?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know a lot about Bradley Cooper, but a lot of respect for his talent. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's fine. I don't need to know a lot about him. But for him to go through this process and things, I thought was good of him to do, because most actors probably wouldn't. And for him to step up and do this and then say, hey, yeah, by the way, it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, because he personally had to do a lot of things for this film.
Right.
I mean, you look at its first directorial or first time directing, learning new instruments, performing on a live stage. Like,
I think that performing on a live stage probably is, I'm not going to say it's easy, but I think it's probably something that he was not afraid of.
No. But I mean, it's still first time doing things and putting yourself out there in different atmospheres. It's not hard, but isn't always easy at the same point.
Right. What are we gonna go? What are we gonna move on to something here, or are we gonna keep going? You know what? Let me say this actually before we come to, and you can add something too. But so there's an actor in this film, and they come on screen, and I'm like, I recognize him. Well, who is he? Blah blah blah. He's old Andrew Dice Clay. He's the dad.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
To me.
Okay.
Because I mean, Andrew Dice Clay goes way back. Like I thought he was closer to my age. I don't know how old he is. I didn't look it up, but
right.
I mean, it's like I remember him as his career was really taking off and all those things, which was a very long time ago now.
Right.
But I remember all that, and then he's in this as the dad, and he definitely looks like he's the dad.
Yeah.
And here I am a grandpa, and I feel like I look younger. Oh yeah, he's way older than I am, so never mind. But see, I just remember when his career was taking off. So.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was a unique thing too with him, for me personally.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere where it sounded the relationship between Allie and her dad is similar to what Lady Gaga experienced with her own dad.
Oh, really?
So
Sure.
it makes, I mean, to me, I wonder how similar this is to Lady Gaga's story. Because it really does seem...
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
I can see, there's a lot of parallels. And again, I don't know Lady Gaga well enough in her story, but I could see where when she was trying to act as Allie, where she could draw off a personal experience.
Mm-hmm. 1937 was the first film.
Yep.
A 1954 musical and a 76 musical is what I have written down.
I don't think the 76 one did well.
Sure. I didn't. All I did was I just put that in my notes here. I didn't really actually read about it, but can you imagine like Tom Cruise in this role or something like that?
Well, if we want to start talking about actor chemistry,
yeah.
The thing that this is another one of those films where it's based off of, I think, two main protagonists and their story and their progression, and that being Allie and Jack. And I think Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga had a dynamite relationship in this film. They really worked well together. It felt like when Jack's character was going through pain, Lady Gaga's character, Allie, was right there alongside him, really balancing that mix of, she's always wanted to be a performer on the big stage, being able to talk about the things she had to say through song, but also having a deep, intimate relationship with her husband and not wanting to see him fail.
Right.
And again, we're going to talk about it, but that's really where this form kind of, you see, it's kind of like a rubber band where, Bradley Cooper launches her career.
Mm-hmm. And
because of that, now there's tension between his character and Allie because now he's not doing as well, but wants his wife to do well and doesn't know how to handle those emotions.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to handle those emotions, but the other part of it too is he kind of warned her to not lose who she was.
Yeah.
And she clearly did.
She did.
Which is not, I'm not saying that's good, bad, or in between, but it's just obviously and it's probably pretty normal.
Right.
But he really warned her, like, hey, my experience, you need to understand, don't lose yourself, basically. I mean, I'm obviously condensing it very much, but
there was that line he had of, you have something to say.
Yeah.
Don't let other people tell you how to say it.
Yes.
And that was really early on in the relationship. And I think you're right. That's another place where he saw Allie really change into somebody else with the change of hair, even the style, and
the dancers and stuff
That's
was a big deal. You know, that she wasn't going to do stuff like that, but then ended up
right.
Money gets in the way.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know.
Those broken promises of the industry telling you can have whatever you want, but then puts all these.
You can have whatever you want as long as you do it however
That's
you
right.
want.
Exactly. You can say it however you want, but here's your script.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. it's like some of the things in the world, we're in this together as long as you do it like we tell you.
That's right.
And that's the whole thing is like, wow, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But what was interesting to me is how I think he shocked her into a couple of things is how I would word it, I guess. I'm not sure if he did that because he was hurt, as obviously this is a character, but because he was hurt, or if he did that to kind of shock her into some of the reality.
Right.
You know, did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was an interesting way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... Man, their relation... It seemed so authentic at most of the film of like...
I was in.
They didn't sugarcoat anything about how relationships can work. And especially at the high-profile setting that they're at.
I was in.
Yeah.
I bought it.
Yeah.
All of it.
I was so excited to hear you watch this. This movie I really like.
I do too. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I really didn't think I would like it. I really did not have a good attitude going into it.
Yeah.
Seriously, did not have a good attitude going into it. And that's why it's so good. That's why we've talked about that on other podcasts. That's why I think our two generations obviously bring a completely different thing to the table. The other thing is that we've been pushing each other a little bit on what to watch.
I'll watch your horror films,
right?
And you can watch my musicals.
And I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm watching this and I'm like, way to go, Tyler. So, it's really good. I gave it a 4.7 for actor chemistry.
Yep.
There was just a few of the side characters. One was that kind of brought it down a little bit was the driver that he had at the beginning of the film. He's a good actor, but
I always remember him from Heroes.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
He's a good actor, I think, but in this particular thing, it just didn't seem believable. And so there's a couple little things like that brought it down because I thought I didn't know watching this who the director was.
Yep. And we haven't even really talked about Sam Elliott's character.
No, right. And so, I'm looking at all these different things and like it can't quite get a perfect score because there's some of these other little things in the side.
Yeah.
But it was really good.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, where it mattered, it shined bright. Yeah. Yeah, I gave it a 4.6. I really loved all the interactions. The tension between Bobby and Jack, their history, their pain from their dad, Bobby really wanting the best for Jack, and Jack being, you don't really care about me, I just want to do my own thing. And then, Jack and Al. There's just so many phenomenal characters. I love watching every moment of it and seeing where the relationship headed.
We're going to do the big spoiler in overall entertainment.
Yeah.
We'll divulge it then. I just thought of that. We'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, it's
and we'll probably talk about that. It's a big spoiler.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the film. I was like, whoa.
And they did it. Even if we get to cinematography, I mean, you can really talk about how
we can talk about
this
anywhere,
was
but
done.
Can we agree to do it at the end?
Yeah.
I want to emotionally get through this.
There's going to be a spoiler at the end. Get yourself
spoiler.
mentally prepared in your Kleenex box.
That's right.
It's ready.
Filming locations.
I mean, there were a lot of stages. I mean, each place seemed authentic. They went to a grocery store, bright lights, which I always think when I go into a grocery store, why didn't I bring my sunglasses? The bars being dark lit and stuff like that. I gave it a 4.4. I really enjoyed it. Nothing really stuck out.
I'm tied.
Yeah.
4.4. I agree. I think that each location appeared genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally agree. Cinematography. That one was easy. There's not much to talk about in locations for a film like this.
No.
There was nothing exciting. There was nothing but authentic.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I would word it.
Right. And that's the most important part. The locations aren't throwing you off to the story. And
right.
It did exactly that.
Yeah.
Cinematography.
How it looks on the screen.
I really enjoyed one thing that stuck out to me right at the beginning when they popped out A Star Is Born, of when Allie is walking down the alleyway and then the red lights. It almost seemed like it was a throwback to older films.
Yeah.
Of those red, because that's what I remember from old, and I was like, this is going to be cool.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that choice. And oh my gosh, there was a lot of foreshadowing, which we're going to get later, because we talked about we'll get overall entertainment is when we'll release that spoiler. But cinematography wise, there were a lot of things that led up to that, which I noticed on the background, because this is one I had seen and you hadn't, and so I was like, I know what's going to happen.
Yes.
And so
you can look for other things then.
I saw things. I was like, well, that's interesting that they put that here.
Yeah.
So that'll be to continued. And the scene where Allie and Jack first lock eyes while Allie was singing seemed really real, where they were at the oh my gosh,
Drag bar.
The drag bar.
Yeah.
And she was across the bar, and she slowly turns her head while Jack's looking at her the whole time, but then they lock.
Yeah.
And you could just tell there was a spark in a moment there. So I thought that was really well shot. Lots of red in the lightings, whether that was on stage, which I just noticed that. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It was just different. And then cameras panning to a lot of different shots during some of those concert scenes, which makes sense, because when I'm thinking of a concert, if you're there, you're going to be like, if you're in the mosh pit, you're jumping up and down. So it does seem like it's moving around quite a bit.
Yep.
So I really enjoyed cinematography. I gave it a 4.4 for all those reasons.
Nice.
Thought it was good.
So I gave it a 4.2. I'll just say, because there was a couple of things, and I guess some of the house scenes seemed a little bit. I think the house when they were in Allie's house, and then Dave Chappelle's character's house, they were too small.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't think they were captured very well.
Yeah.
One of the things, it's a hard balance for me, because one of the things I get frustrated with it's like they're shooting in a house, and it's like, that house is not that big.
Right.
You know.
But then they do a small one.
And it's like, this
is
seems
really
a
condensed.
little like, yeah. So I didn't like some of that, how that came across on the screen, I guess. So 4.2 is that's some of the main reasons. But I really love the concerts. I did know going into this one that these were done like as real live concerts.
Yeah.
Filmed that way, I should say. And so that's tricky.
It is. You only have a few times.
This is it.
Yeah.
Right? This one concert, this is one concert.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like this podcast. We
right.
don't edit it.
No.
This
Raw.
is it. So that piece of it was the lighting and the angles, how they had some of the camera angles and the way the lights hit. That's a lot of planning to make sure that gets hit on film properly.
Right.
And so that was really good for me.
Yeah.
So there was that couple things I didn't like, but a lot I did.
Could you imagine going to that concert? It would be a weird...
Do you have to sign... Like, I thought about this. Do you have to sign like the
liabilities and waivers?
Yeah, like where you I totally lost it. Where you have to sign something that you can't talk about it. What do they call those?
Oh, is it disclosure?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about too.
Yeah. So I don't know why we're both like brain fog on this one, but do you go as a concert goer? Do you have to talk about? Or do you have to sign this thing that you can't talk about it? The only thing that pops into my mind right now is a non-compete agreement, and that's not it, obviously. But I'll think of it.
You cannot make your own film like this.
Right. It's like, that's dumb, but that's what...
That's right. But I know, yeah. I know. Yeah, if you're watching, I'm just staring in blank space, because it's going to bother me.
Yeah.
But that's a good point. I don't know. But, I mean, there's a lot of things where that happens, I feel, where I'm sure that they have to sign something.
Yeah, you would think so, because you don't want... That's a pretty big thing to get out there, like, oh, this is what happened, Right. I mean, obviously...
But at the same point, it's not necessarily... I mean, it's big in this... it's a balance. It's not like any of those scenes are throwing off any of the story. So at least they got that going for them. It's just really they're there for the musical performance, and they can say, "Oh, I could see these. I saw these people play together," but it's not like maybe recording the songs at the same points. It's gonna be terrible quality. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think they lucked out on that part.
Another way, maybe I could maybe look this up, I suppose, but they could have filmed that at the very end, so really close to release.
That's true.
Had everything else ready to go.
Yeah.
Film that, threw it in. I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it, but
it's taking pretty big
costume
risk
design.
not to get that till the end.
I know. Costume design.
Lots of dresses.
There was some cool
Yeah.
things in there, for sure. It was very normal clothing. Obviously, that's also good in a film like this, like every day.
Especially at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. So I gave it a 4.1 because it just made sense. There was a couple of those things that, like, wow, all right,
Yeah.
I like it.
What I enjoyed about the costume design was Allie's character specifically, because she really did go through a change in this film. And when it comes to her music, I mean, she started as in the drag where she had the fake eyebrows, over personified character, but then she went back to a little bit more to reality when she was performing just with Jack. And then she split off and started doing her own thing, and then you start seeing the hair change. You start seeing her dresses and outfits change to fit what the producer or the agent was wanting. And so I enjoyed that aspect where the costumes on her part was very indicative of her changing as a person.
Yeah.
On top of it. So I gave it 4.4. Just because of that, because it really was an important part.
Yeah, very true, very true. Music. Was the music any good in this?
I didn't even hear anything.
How many awards were they nominated for and win, actually? I mean, they won
a lot. I don't know. I didn't look at the awards.
I didn't either, but I remember they won all kinds of awards for the music.
There are so many good songs.
So many good songs. Obviously Shallow, and that was done just amazingly.
If you ever want a good shower song, just because I sing in the shower, if you're ever curious about that, this is a good one.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
But thanks.
If you wanted that visual.
No visual. Producers over here trying not to make a noise because she's belly laughing, but
oh my gosh. I sing the song. It's a great song.
It's a great song.
Because there's the huge part where it almost might be rah, rah, rah,
right.
But it's more emotionally.
Yes.
And so
yeah,
I really enjoyed. Oh my gosh, the music is so good.
The music is so good.
And I think the cool part about this film is, I don't know, from my understanding, musicals they're not your first choice.
They're not my first choice.
And so I think what's cool,
I have not seen The Sound of Music because I just don't want to.
Okay.
I know it's really good.
Well, here's the thing I'll say about The Sound of Music. I typically like musicals. Do not enjoy that one.
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh.
I know so many
when I was a
people
kid,
that are like, they love it.
People can love it and they can do them. But I remember when I was a kid in high school, watching it with my parents for the first time, where I got to the intermission, we got to it was declining towards the intermission. I was like, oh, the movie is almost over. And this is great because I don't want to watch this anymore. Nope. A movie decides to do an intermission, and then there's a whole second half of things people who love it, you're great people, and I appreciate you for who you are. I just can't. It was too much.
Yeah.
But normally I do like musicals. But the thing that I was going to say about what's nice about this one is that it isn't. You have a whole soundtrack still of popular songs, but the way the movie goes through, it doesn't feel like a musical because the songs are being sung at parts where at a concert, or it really just makes sense in coherence of the film. It's not like people are just randomly bursting out into song, which I can understand why people don't like that. I love it most of the time. But I think that really helps this film draw in a different audience.
You know that Beetlejuice was supposed to be a musical?
I did not.
No, I didn't either. I just thought I'd say that to see if it's not true.
Oh, isn't it?
No, I'm just being stupid.
Well,
just
they make anything into musicals
just
nowadays.
to throw you off.
Oh my gosh. Gotta be careful how many times you say that.
What, Beetlejuice? Anyway,
I had
to.
Did you know Mike? Okay,
Left
Michael
field.
Nope, not going down that trail. So I give it a 4.7. I really enjoyed the score. I really enjoyed how it played out through the film. Again, like even there's not a lot of music in the background in this.
No.
It's either a song, because I was trying to find out who the composer was for this, and because normally I'll just tell you straight.
I don't think I have that. I didn't write that down.
Well, it's hard to find.
Okay.
So it was a collab with Lady Gaga studio DJ White Shadow. It written by assortment of country singers, notably Lucas Nelson, who was in Jack's band, and he's Willie Nelson's son.
Oh.
That's the facts I found on that. But normally when I'm looking this up, you can just find it under composer.
Yeah.
But this one really doesn't have that, because listening to it, it doesn't really have like your typical just white noise music in the background. It's either the conversations that are being had, or there's some sort of like singing transition. But there isn't a lot of stuff going on.
No, there wasn't.
Which again, I didn't mind because the music was so good, and they didn't really need that because again, the relationships were so interesting.
And I think that might have taken away from the actual music part of it too. If they had some
Absolutely.
Fist bump. Tied. 4.7 for me too. Overall entertainment value. Spoilers.
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 This is not a drill.
Woosah was that? What was Woosah? That was in
Mufasa.
That was in Woosah was in Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, Bad Boys.
Oh yeah.
Remember their boss or whatever?
Right.
Woosah. Calming. Like I'm stressed. This ending.
It
got
shock.
me.
Yeah.
And it was shock, and it got me.
Do you want to say what that shock was?
Dude cut his formidable beard off. No.
This isn't Dune when Jason Momoa cut off his beard.
No. Excuse me. He hung himself.
Yeah.
In the garage.
With his dog sitting out in the
it was sad. Like I felt it. Like
yeah. And it led up to that whole scene, you knew exactly what was going to happen during each leading up to it. You saw him walking out to the garage, giving his dog a steak, and then going out with his belt and tying it to a rafters. And then all you see is, I think, the garage door closing and his feet when he jumped. And then, oh my gosh, if that didn't get you, his dog comes out and then sits in front of the garage.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Allie's trying to get a hold.
Right.
Of her
He
husband.
was supposed to be there to sing the duet.
Yeah.
Oh boy. In this particular film, because of how they did such a fantastic, incredible, phenomenal, and all kinds of other adjectives job in the beginning of it made you just feel it.
Yeah, I mean,
like he was in recovery for months and months. I mean, he spent months at a recovery facility.
And then Allie on the flip side of like, I don't want to go on this tour because my husband and my relationship with him is so important that I need to build that up and be there with him. And so you're typically what happens in a film like that is that you see this coming together. They're going to do this beautiful duet together. Relationships have been mended, and you can see them walking out into the sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is, and that's something that's fantastically done, is that this film is so real. I mean, depression is not easy to deal with. And so there are so many things where you can blame yourself, you can blame whoever.
I wanted to beat up the agent.
Yeah. He deserved to get beat.
I mean,
I don't. How can he be so heartless to understand knowing what Jack had gone through and or pull out all
because
his...
Allie was, this is really real life stuff.
Right.
And that's why it hits so hard, because Allie's agent, Allie is a cash
She's an icon. Yeah.
To him. So he gets paid when she performs, when, all those things. So it's like he wanted to, at some level, disconnect the two of them.
Yeah, his character is people-centric, where he's good with people, but really he does not care about people.
No, at all.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then she was singing the song that he had wrote.
Well, they had
his memorial.
She had. Oh yeah, at the very end.
Yeah. And I'm like,
with tears, like I was bawling. I needed it. It was
tough.
So much to take in. Again, because it was so well done, and the film did a really good job going back to cinematography, putting notes where you could see where the writing was on the wall at the end.
Yeah, it totally, and the way they did the kind of the slow process of him getting out of the truck.
Yeah. Like even
setting his hat down.
Yeah.
Some of those things were like, oh no.
But even like in the beginnings, like some of the very beginning scenes.
Yeah.
I forget the full context, but I think there were some nooses with neon or rainbow in the background when he was first going to the Drake barn.
Oh, I see. I didn't.
That was one thing I noticed this time. Okay. And then the conversation with his therapist.
Yes.
Both of those things of, again, it's not the ending that you want.
Right.
But it's one of those films, if you watch it again, you can really pick up on those things of like, man, this is hard.
Yeah. And it's real.
Yeah.
But because we all have seen or heard or whatever about a story similar to this.
Right.
It just happens. So anyway, that's super powerful. Everything leading up to it had me like wanting to watch and absorb every second of this film. So I gave the overall 4.5. Overall entertainment.
We were on the same wavelength today.
Are we
I also
really?
gave it a 4.5.
That's actually kind of rare.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I don't think we're super far off.
No.
Generally, but so yeah. And the overall rating, ends up for everything involved in the film is a 4.4.
Did you just like take?
No. You know how I
list?
honestly do this part? I take all 6 of those. So I take actor, chemistry, filming locations.
Oh, do you do the
cinematography? I do the mathematical equation.
Oh, I do not.
Right. No, and that's okay. No, and that's okay. But that's how I take that overall rating is like, okay, all of these things that are added up, and you divide them, this is what we have.
Well, maybe mentally I'm just better at math than I thought I was, and so when I get to
It could
that
be.
is not true.
No, it could be.
Oh gosh. The other thing I just want to mention real quick with overall entertainment, I liked that there was loose ends at the end.
Yeah.
You don't get resolutions with any of. I mean, you get one resolution with Jack's character, but other than that, we don't know what's going to happen with Allie's character. We don't know what's going to happen with Bobby's character, and how are they going to now deal with the emotions and the fallout from what just happened. Again, I think films, especially when it is more happier, where they're getting a happy ending and everyone gets their ending, I think it's great at times, but I also do enjoy films where it just leaves it open and you can really think of how would you react in this setting, because you can just say, you know what, she's probably really going to struggle with this. I don't think she would go back to the film. You can have those conversations rather than the film just drawing those conclusions for you, which I enjoy, especially in films like this that really are meant to make you think about things.
Yeah.
But I gave it a 4.4 through my mathematical equation
right.
of
Your quick math.
That's right.
At least it's not new math.
No, well, that's impossible.
2 + 2 = 5 now, right?
Rounding up. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what are your last thoughts? Wrap us up.
I want to see Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga work together in the future with films similar to this, because they got a chemistry and they obviously have direction for working together. It's one of those films where the film was a perfect length. I just really, because of that, it leaves you wanting more, which is what the films say. This is where you want to be at the end, where you want to leave them asking for more. Well, that's where I'm at.
Yes,
I wish there was more to this, I mean, you can't really do I don't know how you do this, but I just want another film similar to this where I can see them work together.
Do a prequel of their lives separately. I don't know, but I agree. It's definitely one of those things that you have to just absorb yourself into. Yeah, and because it's so good, and that
relatable.
They should have relatable, and they should have a future.
Yeah,
you know.
Okay, so I'll see you later, huh? I'll give you a call.
So it's done.
It's done.